Hello there. How are you? Well, I'd like you to know that I've been praying for you and that I do these commentaries with you very much in mind. I look forward to your comments, questions in the different platforms I post these videos on. Well, we are supposed to take up point number 5 of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Remember, the fourth point taught us about this catechesis, this way of our life in the church. We are all filled up in order to share with others. That's why we go. Our Lord's ordered us, commanded us with that apostolic mandate, the same that He gave to the apostles, and He gives that to each one of us. Christians, go. And we read in point 5 of the Catechism that catechesis is an education in the faith of children, young people, and adults, which includes especially the teaching of Christian doctrine, imparted generally speaking in an organic way and systematic way, with a view to initiating the hearers into the fullness of Christian life. So, the direction of all catecheses is to initiate that life of God in the soul. And this is very important to grasp. What God intends to do with us is not just to come out in radio or TV and invite people to follow Christ. Yeah, we can follow Him, just like the dance revolution. We step where these lights turn on and we get to dance, imitating a model, an animation or something like that, or an actual dancer. Or we follow the footsteps. We follow the footsteps, no, in the mountain, in the trail. Well, imitating Christ is something like that, but not only that, it's much more than that. It is to start the Christian life in us. What is that Christian life? The life of God in us through grace, what we call grace, which is an entity that is not substantial, that is not a substance, rather. It cannot stand on its own. Grace doesn't, float somewhere and we just connect there and we get the grace of God. No, the grace of God is God's life that is poured into our souls so that our souls live that life. So, properly speaking, each one of us will be, not just like, but incarnated God. And who is the incarnated God? That's Jesus Christ. So we will be Christ Himself, like Christ, but Christ Himself. Just like what St. Paul said, it is not I who live. He reached a point when he could say, it is not I anymore who lives, but it is Christ who lives in me. So people can say, I met Christ in that person. That's the goal. Of course, it's a long process made up of many conversions, many starts and stops and stumbles. But that's the general direction. So the catechesis has that as its goal. So to educate the faith in all listeners, children, young people, adults, educating them in the faith of children, young people, and adults, which includes especially the teaching of Christian doctrine imparted in an organic way, systematic way, with a view to initiate the hearers in that fullness of Christian life, which is the life of God in us. So, I'm reminded by the grade school education that I received, high school education that I received, college education that I received, all experiences included in those formative years. Well, especially formative years, because I think all our years on earth are formative. They form, they build. Well, they can also we can live our lives such that our life, what we do, would destroy us. But what we're talking about here is to build, to make alive, to grow. Huh? And, so in those years, in grade school, high school, university, so, knowledge, certain skills, no, were developed. Study, work, putting order, practicing order in my schedule, making decisions of what is more important and what is less important. So I prioritize and dedicate more time to what's more important and less time for that which is less important. And then I have to contend also with my disorder, no, the tendency not to follow all these guideposts. So I have to return to having order again. Many things I learned, all of them geared towards putting them all together so that I am introduced into life in society, where I report to my post, which would be my profession, what I'm trained to do in that education time, to serve everybody in society. It's something like that. This the direction of catechesis. But this catechesis that produces, or rather that prepares us for that life in Christ, is not something caused by me, that I just produce it. No. What we're trying to do is to prepare ourselves so that the life that comes from God, it is the life of God. He shares that life with me. So he connects my soul with this infinite life which he is, and pours into my soul what is appropriate for me, my level, my developmental stage. It's like the sun, if you look directly at the sun, your eyes will be blinded. You can destroy your eyesight. That's why we look at the sun with sunglasses of some sort. We can darken it and we see less of the sunlight, and we can lighten it and then we see more of that sunlight. Depending on what we want to observe, then we put and apply that tint or pigment so that we are able to see what's in the sun. If you want to see an eclipse, so surely you have to look at the sun. Well, you have to shade this kind of special lens so that we are able to look at it and appreciate the object that comes in between the sun and us on earth. So with the life of God, we cannot just receive it immediately. We have to be prepared. And we are prepared by this catechesis. It's like when you practice medicine, you first study for medicine. So theory, you get to know the anatomy of man, the different organs and tissues. And then there comes a moment when you deal with a real man. a real human being that you have to cure or assess its level of health. So you're prepared for the real thing, which will be in one reality where you have all what you've learned put together. So the life of God can be described from outside. Like I observe a dog or an organism, I can study it and observe it and list down its characteristics, how it operates, how its chemical processes, its everything about it. But that's one thing that I know about it, like in a book. I put it there. But the book is not the same as the organism that I'm studying. The organism itself is so rich, it's alive. But I understand it through what I studied in the book. So the catechesis is, studying a book. These points in the catechism, which we will find in the real thing, which is the life of God in us. And that's what I pray that everyone is able to get, because God has a universal salvific will. He wants everybody to be saved. For some of us, through the faith itself. For others, because of some impossibility, earthly impossibility, they have had no chance of having contact with one of these Christians who were sent, no, to go and preach whatever Jesus taught them or taught us, so that there would come a point, that's the goal, that those people would be able to receive the life of God from God Himself. And later on, we will see that in the sacraments, because it is via the sacraments that we receive this grace, this life of God in us. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.